Welcome back, Mech Warrior. Today we're gonna have a little chat about your battle mechs. To be more precise, how to turn them from this into something which makes your enemies drop whatever it is they're doing and look at your glorious death-dealing machine in awe, so you can more easily shoot them in the face with said glorious death-dealing machine. We're also going to have a talk about the different steps in between. Because in the end, it doesn't matter how much time and effort I want to spend on getting my mechs to a given standard. The only thing that matters is your investment in time to reach your acceptable target. And in light of that, near the end of the video, I'm going to give you the best advice I wish I had received ages ago. Strap in, Mech Warrior, and let's get this show on the road, starting at the start. Your mech, straight out of the factory. Look at those lines. Look at that smooth armor plating. And do not forget about the guns. She's already a thing of beauty, but she could be more. Now, some folks like to get rid of the rough edges, the mold lines first. 9 times out of 10, I can hardly spot the blasted things, so I usually wait till after the next step. But I do agree that doing it sooner is better than doing it later. What I found helps me is snapping a couple of high resolution pictures under good lighting conditions, but I still more often than not wait until I'm a little further in the process. Our next step is priming our mech. I don't own an airbrush, so I stick with the rattle cans. Previously I used the ones from Army Painter. They cover great, but I kept running into the issue where the nozzles got clogged. I switched to Vallejo, and they work very well, though they are a little sticky. Once we finish with the next step, that will become a non-issue. Rattle cans come in many different colors, and picking the right one can be a very important choice. Because of our next step, I would strongly suggest priming our mech in white or something close to it. Do not prime your mechs indoors, in a rainstorm or during a tornado, unless you really want weathering effects straight from Mother Nature. Ventilation is good, no rain is great, and less wind is better. Time to get in close. This is where we park ourselves in our favorite chair and under good lighting zoom in. As it happens, this is usually the point where you'll be able to really spot those aforementioned mold lines. Get rid of as many as you like. I like to stick with the really bad ones and leave the rest. I'm lazy, so I love saving time, plus most of the smaller ones you won't be able to spot on tabletop anyway. Get ready for our first layer of paint with a brush. I strongly dislike the company Games Workshop and as such avoid their products like the plague, but without them, contrast style paints likely wouldn't be as big as they are now. So thank you, you overpricing money gouges. My preferred paint supplier is Vallejo, and like most of the major brands, they have their own contrast style paints, Express Color and Express Color Intense. With our white undercoat, one layer of Express Color already makes our mech pop and much more defined. These paints need a serious shake. If you do it by hand, you'll feel like you just arm wrestled an Atlas. Save your wrists, get a Vortex mixer. I can't speak to them personally, but I've heard good things about the Army Painter Speed Paint 2.0 range, as well as the AK Interactive Quick Gen paints. We can certainly stop or pause here, but if we do go further, the next step is picking out some details with 2 or 3 extra colors. Paint some of the weapons metallic and add some colors for camouflage or defining the faction. A small step further, we can color the cockpit windows and lasers. Maybe dot the warheads of the missiles as well. And after that we can add even more smaller details, like further defining that cockpit and working on the base. Add some highlights, put some details on the rim of the base. You can paint on grime or battle damage, or carefully paint some unit numbers on your mech. Freehand unit markings, or apply decals. Add antennas, or in the case of your Kurita Force, Sashimonos, to your machines of destruction. But the most important part is this. You can pause at any time you wish, and every next step is optional. For most of us, our lances or stars are meant to be deployed on the battlefield, and if they look good while doing so, that's just icing on the cake. Damn, now I want a cake. Thank you for sticking with me, Mech Warrior. If you like what I'm trying to do, down below you'll find the appreciation button. It looks like a little thumbs up. What level is good enough for you? Which techniques do you use? Please share down in the comments so we can relate to each other or possibly inspire our fellow mech warrior. And if you want to help carry this torch far and wide, do share this video wherever your next contracts take you. Good luck, until next time, mech warrior.